Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the book Refuge. Today we have a recommendation video for you, and this is one that I haven't done in a while, so I thought it was time to put another one out there. Also, I'm wearing my Smut Squad shirt. This is not one of my merch. I got this off of Etsy, but I love this shirt so much. I love it so much, and I haven't worn it in a while. It's a little bit chilly in my apartment, so I wish I had something over it, but I'm bulk filming today, so I try to change my shirt in between so that when they come out, it doesn't look like it, but just one of the tricks of booktubing for you there. But today, as you can tell by the title, I am doing cinnamon roll heroes. So when I do cinnamon roll heroes, it does not mean that they don't have a little bit of alpha in them, or maybe that they might be an alpha in the bedroom, or that, but over the most part, they are a kind and sweet, squishy, maybe a little bit crunchy on the outside, but mostly gooey on the inside hero. And I have quite a variety to go over with you today, so let us dive right in. I need to have my cup of water right by me though, because I'm on a new medication, and one of the side effects is dry mouth, which y'all know how much I talk and how long my videos are, and I was wondering why talking was so much, because I'm like, I'm not sick, I'm fine. And yeah, sure enough, one of the side effects is dry mouth, so I have to take gulps of water every little bit, so don't mind me. But let's go ahead and dive in with these 10 cinnamon roll heroes I have to share. First, I have Rafe from Rafe by Rebekah Weatherspoon. So this is the first book in kind of like a standalone connected series of hers. I believe there's only 2 books in this series right now, and probably both of these heroes could be called cinnamon rolls. But Rafe is actually a buff male nanny, if you can get from the cover of this book. Rebekah Weatherspoon writes some amazing romances, and they are sometimes black love, sometimes interracial, always very spicy and delightful. So this one is, our heroine is recently divorced. She has twin daughters and she needs a nanny, and she gets a referral to Rafe, who has recently left a family that he'd been nannying for, and he isn't really interested in being a nanny anymore, but then he got referred to our heroine, and he's like, let me meet her, let me check it out. And they hit it off really well, and so this is a romance between the two of them, and it's very sexy. The communication is amazing. There's very good discussion about how they're going to go about their relationship and what the boundaries are, considering that he is literally a live-in nanny for her kids. So it's very interesting. Then there is A Girl Like Her by Talia Hibbert, and the hero in this one is Evan, and Evan moves into town. He is ex-military, and he is working at I think he's working at like a mechanic shop, I think is where he is. I could be wrong about that. But he becomes the next door neighbor to Ruth, who is a bit eccentric, or seen to be by the town. She's also considered a town pariah because of some drama that happened before Evan moved to town. She is a comic book writer. She is also on like the autism scale. She's very neurodiverse and very interesting, and they become friends. And Evan cooks for her as he comes. I believe there's some noise being made. I can't remember how their first interaction starts, but he discovers that she literally only eats top ramen and stuff she can cook on her hot plate, because she doesn't have an oven anymore, because she got too distracted one day when she was cooking and she almost burned her apartment down. So her family was like, you can't have an oven anymore, here's a hot plate. So he will cook for her, and in exchange, because she doesn't want to owe him anything, she borrows him comic books that he reads. So I loved Evan. I loved being in his eyes and trying to figure out why Ruth was the town pariah and what was going on. There is some triggers for a previous abusive relationship, so something to keep in mind. And also some bigotry happening in this too. But I love this couple. I loved this whole Ravenswood series by Talia Hibbert, by the way. Then there is a Marcus from, spoiler alert, by Olivia Dade. I know this book gets a lot of mixed reviews, but my first impression when I ever first read it was that I loved it. Are there things now that when I re-examine it and I've had other friends share their opinions with me that it has bothered me? Yes, there is. But one thing that has not changed for me is that I love Marcus, and I think he is a cinnamon roll and delightful. Marcus is on a highly successful TV show that is a spoof of Game of Thrones in this world. And he also writes fan fiction on something like An Archive of Our Own. That's kind of what this is. And there is this woman that he has been interacting with online through this, that they like critique each other's fan fiction and, you know, help each other out. And in the beginning of this book, there is our heroine who dresses up, she cosplays as one of the characters from the show, and she is plus size, and there are some people being very mean to her for this photo of her. And Marcus, who number one thinks that she's very beautiful anyway, he reaches out and offers to take her on a date, not knowing that they know each other online. This is something that he ends up figuring out, but he keeps as a secret, which is a problem that a lot of people have with the book. I understand. But I love Marcus. He has a learning disability, and he has still been able to be a very successful actor who has to work twice as hard as everyone else so that he can be good at his job. He's very shy. He also has some parents that are very critical of him, and both of them have parents that are very critical and hurtful to them. So there's definitely a lot of real world triggers in this book. That's what I would call them. Fat phobia and bullying and things like that. But again, I loved Marcus. He was my favorite part of this book, and I still do recommend it if you know those things and still give it a try. I do love this series. I know it doesn't work for some people, but it does for me. Then there is Wes from Tools of Engagement by Tessa Bailey. I really loved the Hot and Hammered trilogy by Tessa Bailey. I actually started it before Tessa Bailey got to the level she's at now, and I really enjoyed Wes. This one is an older woman romance. He actually works for the heroine's brother. There is a home improvement company in this town, and the heroine wants to do her own flip, but the family business doesn't want to support her, so they end up making it a rivalry. And Wes, who again works for the family, he decides to go with her. Now they have this kind of enemies thing going on. He is also kind of being a single parent right now. He is taking care of his niece who's been neglected by his sister, and so he's also kind of being a single parent. And I just think he is so snarky and delightful, and I love how he teases our heroine, who's definitely very type A and very precise, and she's had to be this very tough woman because nobody gives her nobody sees that she's as capable as she is, even though she's been supporting parts of the business that her family doesn't even realize. But I really loved Wes. This book was very sexy, and I thought Wes was he was very sweet. Then I wanted to mention Brishin from Radiance by Grace Draven. I read this book last Pharaoh Feb, actually, but I recently have read the other two books in the Wraith King series, which is still not finished, but Brishin and Eco's story are, which is in the first two books. And I think that while Brishin definitely is very tough and strong, being a Kai warrior, he is such a sweet friend and husband to, is it Ecos or Irkos? Sorry, I will never pronounce Eco. I will never pronounce her name right. I'm sorry, but Brishin, I know how to say his name. This book begins with an arranged marriage between the human and the Kai. They both think each other is hideous. This is a political marriage completely, but they end up becoming really great friends. And the first months of their relationship, it's a friendship. And slowly, through getting to know one another, they become very attracted to each other and take their marriage to the next step and make it a real marriage, right? And I think Brishan is just, he's so intelligent and kind and willing to examine the prejudices and the way he's been raised to see the layers in it, and the way that him and his wife are able to bridge the gap between their two species and races is just really inspiring. It gives me all the warm fuzzies. Then I want to mention Love in the Wild by Emma Castle, and the hero of this one is Thorn. This is a Tarzan retelling. I adore this book. I love it so much. It's a pretty like straightforward Tarzan retelling, except for like two parts of it. One, it does take place in like modern times. Our heroine is a photojournalist or like photographer, and she's going on a safari, and her group ends up getting ambushed by poachers who are going to kill them all so that they can't, you know, say what they've seen. And Thorn, who has been living in the jungle for like 10-15 years, I think it might even be 20 years, I don't know, since its family like crash landed there and was killed. He storms in just in time and rescues our heroine and wants her to be his mate. And she, you know, is able to like communicate with him that no, like, not only should I not be living in the wilderness, like, who are you? Why are you here? You must have a family somewhere. So yeah, but he is so sweet. I love this. This is a virgin hero. This is a like teach me kind of situation. It's very hot. It's great. So I love this. But through it all, he may be the king of the jungle, but he is soft and squishy inside, and it's delightful. Then I want to mention Ryan from A Secret for a Secret, Ryan Kingston, also called King, and Queenie is his heroine, but she is actually the daughter of his coach. This is a hockey romance. This is kind of a spin-off from the Pucked series because, what's his name? Alex is actually like he's not the head coach. Maybe he is the coach. Who's Queenie the daughter of? I might be wrong. The general manager. Because Alex is the coach and Queenie is the daughter of the general manager. And he, because he's a good boy, gets asked to like show her around and like be her friend, but he's very attracted to her, and he's very like, he doesn't want his coach to be upset with him, but they're very attracted to each other. And like Queenie, she's had kind of a rough past, and made some mistakes, and she's trying to do better now. But like Ryan is from a very like proper family who like has set his goals out for him, and Queenie is more of like a like wild child who she's trying to make good, but she still has a very like wild side. And the way that Ryan treats Queenie is perfection. And there's a situation in this book where like not a miscommunication, but a secret comes out, and the way that he reacts is so mature, and the way you'd hope someone would react. Oh, there's someone starting the car. It made me so happy. I absolutely love this couple, and Ryan particularly is a beautiful cinnamon roll athlete, man. Then there is Ian from Not So Nice Guy by R.S. Gray, and let's be real, he is a nice guy. This is a friends to lovers. They are both teachers. They are at a school where they are not supposed to fraternize, but they've been friends for a while. They've each had significant others at different times, and we're finally in a place where both of them are free, and now our heroine is like, doesn't want to ruin their friendship because it's so important to her. They like watch, what do they watch? They watch like Law and Order together or something like that. But Ian is like, no, game on. I've been wanting you for a long time. We're going to make it happen. I love their friendship. I love this book so much. They're so cute. I love the lengths that Ian is willing to go to be with her, and how he's like, we're not playing this game anymore. Like, I'm all in, and we're such good friends. We're attracted to each other. It's going to be okay. it's gonna work. And I love that. I love it. Then this one's kind of interesting, but I'm putting him on the cinnamon roll list because of the way he made me feel. He's so precious. And that is Travis from Last Light by Claire Kent. So this is like a post-apocalyptic book. There has been this like illness that went through. And so our heroine, all of her family is dead. And it's time for her to travel across what's left of 3 states to find the only people that she knows, because the rest of her village has already migrated, or her town, and she has stayed to take care of, I think it was her grandmother. And then we have Travis, who he's about like 10 or 12 years older than her, and he is the mechanic in town, so like she knows him. But you know, you don't trust anyone in the post-apocalyptic times, especially men on their own. And so he also had stayed in town because he had a daughter who was sick. And now so they're going to be going the same place is the point. And so in the beginning of this book, he offers to travel with her and help protect her. And she's like, no, I don't trust you. And so she escapes from him, only for a few hours later for her to be like attacked by these people, and he rescues her, and he's like, have I proved myself? Can we travel together? And so they end up traveling together. And this is a very quiet book. Like, there are a few traumatic things that happen because it is post-apocalyptic, and there are some people that you shouldn't trust. Like, that's a thing. But through it all, like, especially as their like feelings for each other are growing, first as just like, let's relieve our physical needs, like, it's okay. Travis is so careful with her and never wanting to feel like she owes him anything. You know, he's like, nothing that I'm doing is because I expect you to pay me with your body, or I expect you, you know, that you owe me. Like, we're in this together. Like, we need each other just as much for safety as we do for like mental, you know, to have a partner with us. And I just really appreciated that about him. And their quiet relationship that just builds over these hours and days spent together. And, you know, once they, you know, are making it to what's left of civilization, it's that question of like, were we together because of circumstance, or do we actually have something more that's happened? And I really appreciate that about this book. And then the last one I want to talk about, we knew we had to throw a historical in here, and we knew the kind of cinnamon roll I would talk about, and that is Kier from Devil in Disguise by Lisa Kleypas. Kier McRae is a whiskey manufacturer, and he has come to town to sell it, and he runs into some trouble at the docks. And the woman that he has to go talk to is Merritt Sterling, who is the widow of Michael Sterling, who used to run everything. And now she's in charge. And Kier bursts into her office full of spit and vinegar, only to find out that she is now the one in charge, and he's immediately taken with her. Like, the way he is struck dumb by this beautiful widow, this elegant lady who seems to be attracted to him too, he's just baffled, and he knows that he is not good enough for her at all. And Merritt is just really taken with him as well and wants to explore what they have. But Kira's like, no, I don't want to sell you. I don't want to ruin your reputation. And Merritt is like, I'm a widow. I'm going to do what I want. And what I want is a night with you. And the story goes from there. Kira is definitely a tough guy in some ways. He's a big, gruff Scottish man. But he melts into a puddle of goo for Merritt. And it's beautiful. So there you go. Those are my updated cinnamon roll recommendations. I do have another cinnamon roll rec video that I made a while ago. I'll maybe have it linked somewhere up here so you can check that out for more recommendations. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video. It really helps me out. I have an entire playlist of over 160 recommendation videos if you'd like to check that out. And check out channel memberships if you'd like to support what I do here. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.